Welcome to our first live webinar about our MS Nitrogen. Last week we've been awarded by PicWorld and ASB for with the new Product Innovation Award for 2020 for our MS Nitrogen. Our MS Nitrogen is a human way of euthanizing young, ill piglets. Today, myself and René Kolen will give you some more information and background information about our MS Nitrogen. My name is Guy Kennis. I work now 11 years for the company Shippers with passion for farming. Now responsible for expanding our business in the Danish pig market and in the British pig market. René.
Yeah, welcome to our webinar. My name is René. I've been working for Shippers for the last 4.5 years, mainly in the UK and Ireland. And the last year I also started working in Holland. So I have a bit of a mix now between Holland and the UK. I hope you enjoy this webinar. And guys, let's kick off.
Good. So what are our goals for this webinar? Now, first of all, we will give you some background information why we started with the MS Nitrogen. Then René will give some more explanation about the MS Nitrogen and also the advantages of the MS Nitrogen. And after the webinar, we will answer some questions. Now, during this webinar, you can ask questions in the box provided. Our director will collect those questions, put them on a sheet so we can answer them after the webinar. All the questions will be transferred to one of our specialists. So if your question has not been answered this webinar, you will get an email later this week. Some background information why we started with the MS Nitrogen. Actually, it's because we want to become more transparent. Consumers are asking more transparency. They want to know where the pig meat comes from. They want to know how many antibiotic usage has been done. Therefore, we think, as a company, that they also want to see more transparency in difficult issues and challenges at pig farming. Now, blunt force trauma is not a nice thing to do, but it's sometimes necessary. Therefore, we realized this alternative to euthanize piglets in an animal-friendly way.
Yeah, I think you're correct, guys. If you look like that, when you see that mobile phones can be in people's pockets every hour of the day, then you don't want pictures being leaked of things that you really don't want to see. So
yeah, exactly. Good. What is the MS Nitrogen, René?
Yeah, the MS Nitrogen, it's a euthanizing box for piglets, which you see there. You see a mobile and a standard version. The mobile is the one that's being used the most because you can transfer it between the entire shed. It euthanizes pigs through nitrogen and nitrogen through bubbles. So there's a foaming device on it. The foaming device makes the bubbles, and in that bubbles there is nitrogen capsuled. Therefore, the pigs get a bit of, they go to sleep and then they are euthanized in an animal-friendly way. So that's basically the nitrogen in short.
Good. And was this the first prototype also, René, of our nitrogen, or how has it been developed?
No, we've been developing for the last 4 years, and we did 3 years of testing on different farms in Holland. I think it was around 20 commercial farms, also in combination with 2 veterinary services. So it's been looked at for the last 4 years and tested out. And at one point we had a standard version which was without wheels. Yeah. So that was basically the first version. But we decided that the mobile one is better. So this is a bit the Nitrogen 2.0 is what we call it.
Good. This one is ready for the UK market.
This one is UK proof, exactly, guys.
Good. Okay. Some specifications of our MS Nitrogen. Could you zoom in? Thank you for that, René. Could you give some brief details?
Yeah, basically some small information. As you see here on the pictures, we have some letters attached. At point A, you will find a solution level indicator where it needs to be put in around 20 liters max, combined with 1 liter of foam, which we'll explain a bit later. At B, you see the gas hose connection, where you put the gas connection with the nitrogen, of course. At point C, you see the filling tube. So the point where you need to fill it. D is the inspection window, where you can look into the nitrogen. Not used a lot because normally the bubbles are there, but it is there. When we look to E, that's the drain valve. Very important when you are done with the euthanizing of the piglets. We are able to free the bubbles. So it's very hygienic getting rid of it. Also at G, we see the foam generator in the picture on the right. So we see that there the foam is generated by a compressor combined with air. Then at I, we see the cover plate for cleaning, which is easily cleanable. And at G, we see the hole for the storing key, where you can close the lid off if needed. And basically, that's a bit of the specifications about the nitrogen. It's not that high tech. It's basically very easy and good to work with for your employees, which we will explain later, of course.
Okay, René, quick question from my side. Why do we need to use a cover plate before we start cleaning?
The cover plate. The cover plate on top. Yeah, exactly. We need that because we want to have it completely washed down from the outside, but also the inside. So then we can do it both ways, exactly. And we don't want high pressure water going into the foam generator.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. Why the MS Nitrogen? We put some USPs from our MS Nitrogen on a sheet, but we will go through them. René, why is our MS Nitrogen animal friendly?
Yeah, the original way of euthanizing pigs is something that has been argued quite a lot over the last years. I think we were always looking for solutions to do it more animal friendly. And over the past years, we developed a product that is capable of doing that because of the piglet is not being euthanized with knowing it. So the piglet is unconscious when he is euthanized. And therefore, you will not feel any pain at all, which is what we want for animal welfare, of course.
Okay, user-friendly is also user-friendly.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite easy to use, so which means it's mobile. They can travel around farm. Besides that, it's very easy to do it. There's no electronics or anything, so it's very. If you look at the quality, you can use it for not 2 years before something breaks down, but it will last a couple of hours.
I can also imagine. I think it improves the work environment.
Yeah, if you look at people that are new to the job, if I look to a lot of farrowing rooms where we see more and more new people coming in, I think the original way of euthanizing the piglets traditionally is not something that is a nice job to do on farm when you're new. And I think this helps people get more work staff attracted to the farm.
Involved in the pig industry.
Exactly.
Okay, hygienic.
Yeah, that said, the complete trolley is stainless steel, which means we can just clean it with a high pressure hose and also clean it with foam and disinfectant after. In that way, we can easily get all the germs out, all the bacteria, because pigs are not passed away for nothing, of course. So there's a lot of bacteria in that box, which we can clean. Besides that, we skip the part of blood on the passageways that we see every now and then. And that's a big plus, I think, when we look to hygiene in total.
Good, the last point, affordable, but I think that was something we will discuss also later in this presentation. So I will pass that question.
No problem at all.
Good, why do we use nitrogen in combination with a foam?
Yeah, why do we use nitrogen? There are a couple of different things that we can use. Now we see the use of pure gas, but if we use pure gas, it evaporates quite quickly. Besides that, it's very harmful. It can be harmful for the farmers as well, so for the employees, which we don't want. Plus, the pig is, it gets a bit of a stroking feeling.
It chokes.
It chokes, yeah, exactly. So that's something we want to avoid. And the same with small bubbles. If we use small bubbles, it can die from suffocation. So the pig feels it's not getting any breath and then it dies.
Okay.
While we use big bubbles, I think that's a good way of doing it, because if you have big bubbles filled with 99% nitrogen, the pig will sleep in and then die without feeling any suffocation. So you basically give the pig a good way to go.
So the big bubble will collapse and the nitrogen will be inhalated by the piglet.
Consumed by the pig, yeah, exactly. In a normal air, I think we have around 78% nitrogen, but in the bubbles we make sure that we have 99%.
Clear. Good. Yeah, we chose for nitrogen as a company. Why not CO2?
Yeah, we see a lot of, I think, benefits from nitrogen. It does not irritate, so it's not irritating for the piglet. Besides that, they're going unconscious very quick, quicker than with CO2. So that's a big benefit, I think, Guy. Besides that, yeah, it's allowed in EU legislation, which means we are possible of putting, yeah, the method is allowed. And if we look to the CO2, it's still allowed, but it's under heavy discussion at the moment because people don't want to use CO2 at the moment. I think that's a big plus about it. And what I said before, the suffocation reaction. Yeah. You don't want the pigs to have a suffocation reaction because animal welfare-wise, it's still not good.
To summarize it, the biggest plus for nitrogen is that the piglet falls asleep, and with the CO2, it starts choking and it really has that moment that it can't breathe anymore.
Exactly.
Clear. Okay, now how does the nitrogen work? Therefore, we have a small video that we will show you now, and after the video, we will explain you a bit more. So, as you could see, the system is, as we call it, farmer-proof. It works very easy. But how does it work in practice? Now, therefore, we got some how do you say it? Advice how to use it in practice with small piglets. René.
Yeah, exactly. I think the nitrogen is made to hold up to 15 kilograms. That's so. Yeah, 15 kilograms is the max, and you don't want to go any higher. But that 50 kilograms can, of course, be divided in a lot of size pigs. But in practice, we see a lot of pigs that are born that we think they're not going to make it. So a lot of small pigs around 1.5 kilo. If you look to the table in your middle, you see that if you have piglets up to 1 kilo, you can do 15 pigs in one round. And if you have, according to more kilograms, weight class, it goes, of course, lower. So that's something you need to look at. Besides that, you see 10 minutes in a full box. Yeah, what does that exactly mean? It's not that it takes 10 minutes to euthanize the piglet. The piglet gets to sleep around 30 seconds. So it takes around 30 seconds for the pig to sleep in. After that, the pig will be euthanized in roughly 3 minutes. But because we want to build in a safety matter, I think that's something everyone needs to do. We took 10 minutes because then you're completely sure that everything went according to plan.
Clear. What is the most important thing, René, when using the nitrogen with the foam?
Yeah, the most important thing is that you have good bubbles. So you have to have really big bubbles, so not small bubbles. So have a look at that when you're inserting the bubbles.
Is it also important the level of the height of the foam?
Yeah, if we look at when you fill the nitrogen completely with foam, it's not always necessary because if you have a lot of small piglets or one big piglet, if you fill it to the half, it's more than enough. Important is that all the pigs are under the foam, and I will always say to make sure you have 5 centimeters higher than the piglet, because then you're sure that the piglet will not come above the foam.
To reach that 99% of nitrogen.
Exactly. Otherwise, we may conquer problems. So you want to have that real good level.
So to summarize, crucial when you use it in practice, the piglets need to be below the foam level to ensure that they were euthanized correctly.
Exactly.
Clear. Good. We will come back, as we said, to the average cost of our MS nitrogen. René, can you explain a little bit more so we have a feeling what the cost is for using the MS nitrogen?
Yeah, the cost, it's very hard to explain because when we do a full round, which means we will fully blow up the bubbles to the top of the nitrogen, we're looking at roughly £2.25, £2.50 per round. But if we only do half, we're looking at half of that. So it's really hard to see how many will it cost eventually, but yeah, it's not that expensive to do it. If you do, for example, 100 rounds a year, yeah, that's almost no cost.
Yeah, so if you say 100 rounds and you would use 15 piglets per round, you can say you have around £300 year cost.
Yeah, exactly. So that's almost nothing for a animal welfare friendly way of doing it.
Good. I think we will now get over already to the questions. If it is correct, then our director collected some questions for us. So I can see that's correct. So let's go to the next sheet. And therefore, we are having some questions. And I start with the first question. I have to look a little bit, but one moment. Which piglets are meant to be put in the nitrogen, René?
Yeah, what we saw before is we can put piglets up to 15 kilograms. So my advice is that as well, don't go any higher than 15 kilos. And always look with your vet, which piglet do I need to euthanize? So don't make decisions on your own. So it's work together with your vet on this one.
Yeah. Okay. Why is the nitrogen so big? Because if I have, can't you make it smaller to do less pigs?
Yeah, that's a question we hear more. But if I look to the average, sow herd in England, I think that this size is perfect, because I think if you look at 2-3 rounds a week, you can easily fill up the trolley. And of course, we can make it smaller, but then your cost of the foam will stay the same because you still need the same amount of foam.
Okay. Can we clean the trolley with a high pressure system?
Yes, no problem at all.
No problem.
It's easy to clean it with a high pressure system. Just make sure that you put the plate on top of the foam generator, that you don't put your power wash in that point.
Because that's the main part of the system.
Exactly.
Okay. And the last question, how many systems are already up and running?
Yeah, at the moment we have over 100 up and running through Europe. So it's it's proven system. It's very easy to work with, is what we hear back from mostly all farms, and it's very user friendly. So you never have to get a spare one or a spare part because there's no electronics on it.
Clear, because I think we now are running in the Netherlands maybe
70, 75, yeah.
70, 75 farms. Okay. Yeah, good. That will end our webinar. Of course, if you got some more questions, you can contact myself or my English colleague, Luke Roberts. We hope you enjoyed the webinar, and let's stay in touch.